views and opinions expressed on the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff or management of alltalkradio.net.
Here I am, standing at the door, looking back at life as it's been before, holding on to things that might have been, knowing that this day will never come again, as my spirit's guiding me to...
Hi, this is Elena Risto, and you're with me on Soul Chat, and this is
Mary Rose.
Mary Rose, Psychic Mary Rose here in Las Vegas. Whoops.
Yep.
And if you've noticed, we've got a third party here besides George sitting behind the... So I'm going to let Mary Rose introduce this and what this is about, and just a little bit we can talk more about it as we get going.
Okay. Well, this is a special angel that brought in the new energy this year. This year it's all about Saint Germain, magic, miracles, manifestation, and of course alchemy. Alchemy, if you don't know what that is, that's turning metal to gold. Saint Germain has definitely made his presence this year. His colors are emerald green and purple. And so this angel represents all of those miracles, miracle, magic, manifestation, and alchemy. And Saint Germain is helping out on the earth this year. I'm sure he's going to be here for a long time. This year we start the light ages, but we're completely in light ages this year. We started in the year 2000. This year we do not have the mixed energy of the dark ages and the light ages. We only have the light ages. So you're going to see a lot of miracles this year. You're going to see a lot of manifestation. Anything that you're thinking right now, good, bad, or indifferent, is going to manifest. So be careful what you think and how you think it.
Yep, that's the thoughts become things, right?
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. Today, what we're going to talk about on the show, it is the full moon. It went full at about 8 minutes after 3 p.m. on Pacific Standard Time, for those of you that are listening from elsewhere. And it's the full moon, and it's in Leo. And so Mary Rose is into astrology a bit more than I am, but we can definitely use it and talk about it. And also about intuition. And what's going on now, because a lot of people, I'm getting phone calls from people that are saying, I'm just totally blindsided by, and these are people that are very intuitive,
Right.
you know, that are saying, I'm blindsided by what's happened, and they're getting phone calls out of the blue, people are leaving their life, or people are suddenly coming in, and it's all about that sixth sense, you know, that we've heard
Right.
about, all the way from that gut feeling, this isn't right, I shouldn't be here, to walking in a room and saying, "Ooh, I'll stand over there and not stand to that," or having a dream,
Yes.
and then that person, something happens to that person, or so we're just going to kind of ramble on about intuition and the sixth sense and the full moon, and obviously our angel friend here. I kind of like watching the colors swirl; it makes me happy.
She does put out a very wonderful presence.
Yeah, it's really cool. And that's an interesting thing. There are things that you can have in your presence that I tell people all the time when I'm working with them shamanically. You know, here's what I want you to do now, and I want you to do this every day. Or I have people, you have no idea how many people in Las Vegas have been blowing bubbles looking at the sun in the morning, you know?
A lot of them lately,
Yeah,
especially since
hopefully.
the first of this year, because we went into Mercury retrograde right after we came into the first of the year. And that took us back to October, November, December. So
there we
anything
go.
you did in October, November, December that is not completed or finished, you're definitely going to redo right now.
It's a redo. It's a re-everything.
Yep.
And before we do that, there's always a segment at the top of the show, and I'll let you think about it if you can think of something. But we all have the ability to learn about ourselves.
Yes.
Every day. Things happen all day long, and it's whether we want to put our awareness there or not. So what I learned about myself this week, and I'm still in the process. I was sharing with Mary Rose a little bit before we came on. What I've been learning about myself this week is I still have a part of me that is scared about stepping up and showing who I am. And there are things that have happened off and on all day long, and I had a little bit of a meltdown earlier today. And this is the stuff at a real deep level. You've heard us talk about doing the work. Good healers are the ones that are doing their own work and understanding how we're wired and healing our own wounds. And for me, this is in process. I'm not done yet. There's things that are happening. She's psychic and says, "Oh no." I've said, "Oh good, that's good." Uh-oh. So I'm going to keep you on tap about this because there's some things I've been trying to make happen for a very long time. And I think it is part of the Mercury retrograde. It's not that Mercury's doing anything to you. It's that it's showing you the influences that are going to come up that are going to challenge each one of us. And it's happening for everybody differently. So there we go. How about you? Did you learn?
Yes, one of the things I found out this week was that I had not let go of everything that I thought I had let go of.
Oh, I hate
some
that.
of the things. Oh, surprise.
It's like the never-ending garage sale, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I found out that emotionally, I was attached to people that I didn't realize I was attached to, and had thought that I had gotten all of my karma done and done everything with these people, and all of a sudden they showed up at my doorstep again. So
Yep.
I have some more letting go, too, of people, places, things. And believe me, I'm ready to let go of them. This is a great year to do that because this is also a great year of new things coming in. We have the Chinese New Year coming in.
Yeah, that's the Golden Ram, right?
The Golden Ram.
Right.
So that's kind of a Capricorn year. It's also a money year. And it's also an 8 year, which is, again, money. 8 is also the symbol of infinity. And that's the new things coming in. So, again, it all goes along with Saint Germain and all this wonderful energy that's coming in.
I did a couple of journeys for you over the last month or so since you were here last time, and that's the first time I've had contact in a spiritual way with Saint Germain. What a character!
Oh, he is.
He showed up in all of these long robes and flip-flops.
Yes.
Beach flip-flops, and it's like, really, seriously, you know. So because I think we have this inborn picture where we think we have angels, and all angels look like that, and all saints look a certain way, and there's spirit very much has a sense of humor.
Oh, they do. They have such a sense of humor. And you forgot to mention they're gold flip-flops.
Gold, yes.
Gold.
Of course they are. And the way, and understand when I do a shamanic journey, I'm going to look for energy for people that's going to present it in a way that's going to make sense to them. And so you work with Saint Germain a lot in your practice. And so that's who showed up. I was not really surprised, you know. And this last time I did it, I have this energy that I work with that comes in the form of a big red dragon. Mm-hmm. And this time the two of them were sitting there. It was almost like they were playing cards, and you know, it was that kind of energy and chit-chatting. So, and anybody that's listening will think, boy, these two have really gone off the dime, right?
Yes.
But it's our world, and George gets to have us. So there you go.
Yes.
And watch the angel.
And watch the angel, yeah. Oh,
yes.
Yeah, that's hypnotizing, yeah.
Well,
Hypnotic.
I've been asking for 20 years for a color picture of Saint Germain. I knew they existed, but I'd never seen one. And I have this little 2x4 photo of him, black and white, as his physical life on Earth as Sir Thomas Bacon. Well, the day after Christmas, they brought it to me, a great big 16 by 24 inch Saint Germain. And let me tell you, he is so powerful.
I haven't seen it yet.
So overwhelming. Oh, you haven't?
No, I'll have to come over to the house.
Oh, my goodness. I
see
should
if
have
it
brought
looks
that
like
today.
what I saw.
Mm-hmm. It is beautiful. And as I said, I've been asking for this picture for 20 years, had looked everywhere I went, even to different countries, never found a picture of Saint Germain, and he was brought back to me the day after Christmas. The angel was brought before Christmas, about 3 days, so that was definitely the new energy coming in for 2015.
It's really kind of exciting. And the way I've been explaining it to people is that if you, with awareness, and your intention was about healing yourself, clearing up your life, being aware of the energy that's beyond here, beyond this reality, and you did your work, this year coming up is going to be a really good year.
And every year hereafter is going to be a really good year.
And for the people that didn't, it's going to be a little bumpy because it's something that Spirit is driving us forward on, and it's about, we are getting better.
Yes.
If you talk to my son, it doesn't seem like it, but if you talk to my son who's the history buff, he will tell you that as far as conflict on this planet, this is one of, per capita, this is one of the calmest periods of time historically for war. It really is, because if you look at all of the numbers, I'm talking about percentage of people that are in conflict to the total number of people on the planet. There was some phenomenal amount of in China, and he's going to say, I told you the number, and I'm going to tell him all I forgot, right? That an incredible amount of people in China, like 300,000 people, died in 1 week.
Yes.
In the 1500s or something like that. And so for the population of the planet that we know was here, that was a horrendous time. So it's not like this is anything new, but the energy's got to change.
Well, it is changing, and this year is the first year of clear, clean, what we call light energy. We don't have the dark ages anymore.
Right.
And every year it's going to get better, and we're going right back to the 100th monkey, which Gene Goodall started when the 100th monkey started putting a stick in the dirt and letting the ants climb up it. Every monkey on every continent did the same thing.
Wow, that's amazing.
In Germany, when they brought down the
Berlin Wall.
The Berlin Wall, it took 250,000 people all thinking the same way to change the energy enough to bring down that wall without a shot being fired.
I went across the Berlin Wall.
Oh, you did?
Through Checkpoint Charlie. Yeah, it was 1973.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was amazing because the barbed wire was there. They let us stand on one side. There was a spot that was easier to try and escape through, rolls of barbed wire, and it was heart-wrenching because of the crosses. There were fresh crosses there of people that wanted to get through. And to have that, and I think the wall came down when? It came down in the...
I think it was 1991, so you have to understand it wasn't that long ago.
So 20 years after I had been there and went through Checkpoint Charlie, it was amazing to me having been through it and walking, because we came in by accident through East Germany. We came from Denmark, and they put us on the wrong train.
Oh, my gosh.
And that's not good.
It should have been scary.
It was very scary. And they made us walk for 2 miles underground in the tunnels in 80-degree humidity, to the right place to come. They would not let us come up where we had gotten off. Where in this country, you get on the wrong train, you get off, you go take another one. It wasn't that way. And then when we came up, there were armed guards everywhere with machine guns ready to do that. We didn't grow up in that.
Well, and the amazing thing is that all those people in Germany, East Side and West Side, were all different religions.
Right.
And so what they said was, at 8 o'clock, go in and pray. I don't care if it's your synagogue, your house, your church, whatever it is, whatever religion you are. At 9 o'clock, we're going to come out and we're going to take the wall down. Well, the tanks were there. They were in riot gear. They were ready to fire on anyone that touched that wall. And that wall came down and not one shot was fired.
Right.
But all those religions coming together to bring that mindset, and that's really what we're working on right now with Earth, is that when you have enough people that have the mindset of we want peace, we're going to have peace.
That's right. That's right.
And this is going to be a big year for that. And, of course, a lot of you are waking up right now. You're getting more psychic than ever before.
Which brings us back to intuition.
And I would tell you that the best thing you can do is to become a great listener. Because if you listen, your angels, your guides, your spirits are going to be talking to you. People are going to be coming into you from the past that could be relatives or people that you've known. And eventually you could even see them. But this year's definitely the beginning of the awakening.
Yeah. The intuition, when did yours start? What was your earliest memory of having intuition?
I can remember being 3 years old and telling God, God, I am never coming back as a child again. Don't you even think about it.
I personally want to come back as a dog after watching mine, I'll tell you. Yeah.
Yeah, I was 3 years old, and I said, I will not come back as a child again. I don't know how you're going to pull this off. I don't care if I walk in, whatever I do, but I will not be born as a child again on this earth.
Did you share that with anybody?
Just you.
No, but I don't know who you've shared it with, but I mean, at the
3
time.
I did not know. But I remember pointing my finger at him and saying, now, God, I will never come back as a child on this earth again. You're going to have to fix it.
So you knew at that age that there was something much bigger
I saw
than
him
what
all
you
the
were
time
born
and talked
into.
to him.
Yeah, right.
And I was 29 years old before I realized everybody didn't do that.
Yeah, I learned early on that everybody didn't do that. I learned in school.
Well, my mother was American Indian, and she was like 3/4 American Indian, and my grandmother and great-grandmother were full-blood American Indian, and so they all had that. So to them, it wasn't unusual for me to be talking to spirit. So I
Yeah.
was never told, don't do that.
I think my first connection actually it was one that I realized I better not be walking around and talking about this to everybody. And I must have been about 10 years old. And I was watching something on TV, and they used to have a broadcast. Do you remember this, where they would all of a sudden they would show the fighter planes, and they would fly the planes up above the clouds, and they'd talk about touching the face of God, and
Yes.
and on that, I swear I didn't know my grandfather. He passed away about 5 years before I was born, but I had seen pictures of him, and all of a sudden among those planes I saw his face, and I started crying, and I went to my mother and I said, I really miss my grandfather, and she looked at me because I'd never seen him, and she said, don't be silly. Just squash like that. And I went, well, I won't be talking about that again.
Well, when you saw those planes, now we're dating ourselves.
Yeah, no
that
kidding.
was when the TVs
Notice George
went
is
off.
quiet over here.
Yeah, when the TVs went off at 10 o'clock at night, they did that every night.
Yeah.
When they shut the TVs off.
Yeah, and for some reason they did this in the middle of the day. I don't know why. Or
Well,
maybe.
that was in the morning when they'd come on.
Oh, okay.
When they would start in the morning.
See, I was more aware about what was on the TV than the fact that it was morning. That's exciting.
Yeah, they would start in the morning about 6 or 7 o'clock because it was, of course, Eastern time. And then they would shut us off at 10 o'clock at night, which was 1 o'clock in the morning Eastern time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they used to do that every time.
Good. We got George in now. He's on it.
Yes, I do remember that. I'd also turn the knob on the television, 13 plus the U.
Yeah. UHF. Remember that? Yep. That was, and there was nothing there. I was always so disappointed. You know?
And believe it or not, at one time we only had one TV station. No
Yeah.
matter where you lived, you had one TV station, and then eventually we had three. We thought we were really in heaven.
Right.
Have three TV stations that went off at 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, so that's when my intuition, that's when I started recognizing, ooh, I'm hearing things and seeing things and noticing things before that. I believe that, I think you're right on it when you say listen. And the other thing is notice your gut instinct. Everybody's got the old gut instinct, and it comes in different ways. Maybe you hear things, maybe you see things, maybe you just have that sense, I shouldn't go here. And I believe it's in all of us. I think it's the amount of awareness that you're willing to develop to recognize it. I believe it's available to all of us if we want.
And I would like to say, too, if you don't hear it, don't feel bad. I have a friend that has been my friend for over 30 years.
Yeah.
She never sees or hears anything. She feels it in her heart and in her mind, and she feels it. She says, I feel it right here. And some people are feelers, and some people are seers. Some people are audios.
Yeah.
So, don't feel bad that you don't have the same gift that somebody else has. Now, my friend that feels it, I would trust her intuition anytime. When she says, I feel right here, this is what we need to do, I definitely listen to her.
And it comes in, like you said, it comes even beyond that. I have a friend that if I ask her a question, she will see certain colors. She'll get certain colors around it.
Yes.
So there's a seeing kind of thing going on there. But everybody's intuition is different. And if you know someone who's very intuitive and you say, well, I'm not intuitive because I don't do that. Don't do that. Don't compare yourself because everybody's is so unique, I think.
When I was 24 years old, I went through a divorce, and the Spirit of Jesus Christ and Spirit of God started appearing at the foot of my bed. And for 6 years, they told me I was going to be a nun. I said, I don't want to be a nun. I'm 24 years old, But
but you weren't raised in a Catholic church
no.
any kind of...
No, I was raised Baptist and Pentecostal.
Yeah.
But I still saw God and spoke to him at a very early age, and my mother did also.
I was questioning the nuns more than I was questioning God.
No, but anyway, one of the very first things that I asked him to teach me was to show me what the colors were and what the colors meant, which was very enlightening to me, to know what the colors were and what they meant. And definitely those colors do mean different things.
Yeah, they do.
So.
And not everything that's pink means one thing.
No.
It can mean different things to different people. And I guess what we're saying is, honor your individuality on this. Don't ignore anything if you get a hit about something, or if you get a feeling about something, or if you see something. A lot of times you might get something in peripheral vision and turn your head and there's nothing there, and you go, well, I must be.
Well, it always starts in peripheral vision. So if you can look straight and look on both sides, you're going to be able to see in spirit more anyway.
And why do you think that is?
Because the frequencies are changing. They're testing your frequencies. It has to do with your eyesight.
Okay.
So
my take on that is that if I'm sometimes things come through clearer if I'm not trying and if I'm not focused.
well, if
So
you're
if it's
focused straight
unfocused-
ahead and see on the side, that's what you're going to be doing. That's where you're going to
Right.
see spirit more.
Right.
And it always comes out as a dark shadow first. We think if it's a dark shadow, it must be bad. No. It's kind of like when you're at the eye doctor and they're testing your eyes, and at first it's real blurred and you see shadows, and then pretty soon you start seeing the shape, and then you start seeing colors, and then it comes in clear. Well, when you're going through the training or the learning, whichever one you want to do, it always starts out with those type of frequencies.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. My first experience with a Ouija board, we've talked about this on this show before. I actually picked it up, took it out in the yard, and threw it in the burn pile.
Well, my first experience with the Ouija board, it started flying around the room at 3 o'clock in the morning. I
Right.
said I'll never touch it again. So I threw mine out also.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? Yeah, that was. And I saw a TV show not long ago that actually kind of freaked me out a little bit, because in this show, they had written about these girls that were playing with the Ouija board, and they were all excited until all of a sudden it actually started talking back to them. And who was talking to them was Prince somebody or other, and I went, okay, somebody was in the room.
Well, it was their spirit guides. That was
Well,
talking
yeah,
back.
but that's what happened to me.
Well, they were talking to
So
me
here,
too when I did
50
it.
years later, all of a sudden I've got a bunch of girls that are now hearing Prince so-and-so again, and I'm going,
Right.
okay, that's weird.
Right. Now, talking to me, I didn't mind at all, but when it started flying, that bothered me.
Yeah, that's a little different. That's hard to take. Although now anymore it doesn't bother me as much, because I'm always teaching people when I teach them how to journey
Right.
that anything happens on the other side. And I always tell them I think one of the greatest shamans was Walt Disney. Because it's really about letting your imagination be real.
And he came to teach us about animals having spirits, and so that we would be kinder to them.
Right.
And if you study Lemuria and the people from Lemuria that went into the center of the earth there at Mount Shasta, they've said many times that they will not come back on this earth until we learn to treat animals correctly, because
Right.
as long as we're cruel to animals, they'll always be cruelty and war on earth, and they will not return until then.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And that's coming up more and more. And people ask me, they say, do you really believe that's real? And I said, it's as real as anything else.
Yes.
It's just as plausible to me as something that, it's one man's opinion or one woman's opinion.
Right.
Why not? Let's see what happens. And what I tell them is,
Right.
if you get positive information that makes positive change in your life, who cares? If
Well,
you're
that's
making,
what we call truth,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
a lie cannot perpetuate itself. So if you're hearing truth and it's correct and the answer is correct, don't ever doubt that. And the other thing is, pay attention to your dreams right now, because as you said, the dreams are getting more prolific, and they're giving us more and more messages in our dreams than they ever have before. I've never really been much of a dreamer, but I also am getting lots of dreams right now.
Last night, I had 2 dreams that felt to me like they lasted all night long. And one of them, they were both in conflict. And one of them, somebody was chasing me, and they were going to make sure I didn't go forward. And no matter what I did, they always morphed somehow and came up. And in another one, I was in a situation where I was going to perform or I was going to sing. And the only problem is that when I showed up, I had the music to them, and they misunderstood that I needed a piano player. So I was supposed to play. Now, I can play, but playing and singing at the same time are 2 different things. I woke up, honest to God, I woke up in a sweat.
I bet you did.
And so both of those situations, when I looked at them later, I looked at them and I thought, this is both situations that are conflict, and how am I feeling when I'm in them? And it's something directly at the opposite extreme of the worst thing in my mind that could happen to me, where I can't do anything, where I'm out of control.
Right.
And that was just really intense. And it is the full moon.
And Mercury retrograde.
And Mercury retrograde. Let's talk. No, yeah, it is. It's craziness. I got my first virus on a Mac.
Really?
Yeah, and I did get rid of it. We didn't have to download it because I was talking to George about it.
Did it work for you?
No, we didn't do it that way. We ended up downloading something that just scanned the whole thing, and it found like 24 infections. And
Well, it's very rare for a Mac to have that, but it can
very
happen.
rare. It can happen. And other things, I've had other people saying, all of a sudden they're going, my cell phone didn't work. It's never not worked. It just didn't work. and will come on 3 days later. It's not like anything is really destroyed. It's just like it's interrupted.
Yeah, I've had tablets so far. 2 of them go down on me.
Isn't
Right.
that
Yeah.
interesting?
Well, the good news is this is the last time Mercury will go into the Dark Ages energy. This is the last time.
Is that what's going on?
So, yes.
It's helping clean up that Dark Ages energy.
Well,
then.
we're redoing what we didn't finish, and you have 3 chances to do that. When it goes direct, it goes retrograde, and then it goes direct again. You have 3 chances to make things right.
Right. So the next time it goes retrograde, which I can't remember, is it in May?
It'll be in April, I believe.
April. And this time it comes out on February 11th. And you and I were talking about that
Yes.
before, that next week on Wednesday, people, we should see less and less of this energy that suddenly it's like everything, redo, replay, revisit, all of that should be
Going
waning.
back to the past.
Yeah.
And really, the 15th of February, it'll be out because it takes about 3 days to actually get moving again. And February the 15th is a universal power day for a lot of people. There's going to be a lot of things happening. A lot of doors are opening on that day. So it's a wonderful, wonderful day. Happens to be my birthday.
I was going to say, that's a big day.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And
So Universal Power Day, talk about that.
Universal Power Day. Universal Power Days are days that they open up when they start opening doors for everybody. These are
Meaning the
spirit-
spirits, the
spirit.
angels,
Your guardian angels, your spirit guides, whoever's with you, they're opening doors for you. And you have to understand that usually people get sick around October, November, December, January. When you are sick and you cannot get out of bed, your guardian angels are off to school getting new advice and new ideas of what they're supposed to teach you this year and the doors it's supposed to open and what your lessons are for the year. So when you're sick and you can't get out of bed, it's because your main spirit guide is gone. They don't want you out wandering around hurting yourself.
Well, the only thing they did to me, the last 3 I have been either coughing something till March or, had a serious cold. This year it didn't happen. However, what did happen is that I developed tendonitis in my left knee and I couldn't walk. I mean, I had to watch what I was doing. I had to watch where I was stepping. And I had this click that I swear when I was in the grocery store, they must have heard it. If I was in the bakery, they heard it in the vegetable section. I mean, it was just pop, pop, pop.
And
it's gone.
And if it's your knees, that's how you honor yourself, because we usually do more for other people than we do for ourselves. And your left knee is relationships.
Yeah.
So
Thanks so much for that. Yeah, that's really cool. So the full moon, we also have a supermoon. This
Yes,
is the
we do.
second supermoon, so we're going to have another one next month.
Isn't there 4 altogether?
I thought I read that there was 3 supermoons in a
Okay.
row.
Okay.
There will be 4, but we've got 3 in a row for some reason. And the thing is we had it in August, September, and October.
Yes, we did.
And those were really interesting times. And I have been amazed at the people that I have heard that moved to town here that are significant in my life now, and businesses that either closed or opened during that
those
time.
times.
And the ones that opened that I've talked to are doing very, very well.
Well, if you want to start a new business or you want to start a new venture or go to school or better yourself, this is absolutely the best year to do that. It's 8, which is money. 8 is the infinity symbol, and also the golden ram, which is the Chinese New Year. So this is definitely the time to get started.
Yep. And if you did your homework, awareness-wise and spiritually, it should be a really enlightening year.
Yes.
Things that you've wanted for a long time, you're going to feel more support from the universe. Not just from people, but from the universe.
And you're going to see it's easier than it's ever been before.
Yeah.
So that's what part of these light ages is that it's going to be easier and easier. A lot of people don't know it, but we actually started the Aquarius age in February of 2009. And this is actually bringing in more of that Aquarius energy, peace on earth, people helping people, paying attention to our own business, not paying so much attention to other people's business, doing what we need to be doing. And that's like the pebble in the water. It just spreads out. The more work you do, the more work you help your family to accomplish. And again, that 100th monkey mindset.
Yeah, I was trying to remember the first time I heard the 100th monkey. I think that is so cool because that's
is.
nature. And of course, being a shamanic practitioner and a teacher, I work with nature. That's
Yes.
one of the ways that I help people reconnect with their spirit is sending them out in nature and working with nature.
And one of the things you want to do when you want to get very clear, if you have a decision to make or something, get out and take a walk. Get out and be in nature. Sit at the park. Do something that's going to ground you, help you get grounded before you move forward with all the hustle bustle that our world has.
I probably have clients laughing out there if any of them are listening or will listen. One of the favorite things I have to do, and it's not because I think of it, it's because Spirit is giving it to me and
Absolutely.
saying, is to go and hug a tree. And not just hug it front on, but put your back to it, and especially if you're worried. And what you do is you start at the crown of your head, and you go down through your body, and you merge with the tree. Just imagine merging with the tree and sending any worries, anything that you're thinking about, down in through the tree, down through the roots into Mother Earth, and ask her, please heal this.
Well, Julie Renee tells a wonderful story about trees, and this is she married a pig farmer. She lived back in the East, and they had this apple tree that was over 100 years old, but it was a wormy apple tree. And so she decided that the wormy apple tree was wormy because it was not loved. So she went that first year that she was there, that the tree had apples. She picked up every apple off the ground, and even if she could just get one bite of good apples to make applesauce or apple butter or anything like that, she picked up every apple and used every apple. The next year, the apple tree had 80% right apples and 20% were wormy. And the third year, there was no worms in the apple, but she'd go out and talk to the tree and love it and tell it that she loved it and that she appreciated it and that it was 100 years old and that was a long time to have a life and that she wanted beautiful apples, and she got beautiful apples.
That's interesting.
Isn't that interesting?
That's really interesting. There's a process that I teach people that I learned in doing the teacher training when I was in teacher training with Sander Ingerman, international shamanic teacher and healer. And we do this process called transfiguration, where, and she did a lot of studies with it, and they would take pictures and they would do things like they would have water that would have certain things into it, chlorine or something, there was some pretty poisonous stuff into it, that they would take a circle of people around it. And what you do is you take a deep breath, you close your eyes, you go down into your center, and you find that spark of God that's inside of all of us, and you step into it and you let it expand, and you go through a process where you let it fill your heart, you let it fill your body, you let it fill the room, then you imagine it filling the building, going out into the streets, surrounding the earth, sending it out into the universe. And then they would test this. They would test these certain things, and there would be changes.
Well, they've done that with bottles of water or water. They took 10 glasses of water, and on one they wrote love, one they wrote peace, one they wrote harmony, one they wrote hate, one they wrote anger, one they wrote frustration, and then they took pictures of them afterwards, and they were totally different snowflakes after they had frozen them.
Oh, that's interesting too. I love that. That's pretty cool. That's really cool. There's just so many things like that. And so you wonder about your intuition. Let's get back to intuition again. What are you picking up? What are you picking up? Are we picking up the energy from other things? Are we picking up, where is it coming from?
We're picking up the energy from everyone. If you have someone that's uptight, if they see that you're a strong person, you are being pulled on at a level we've never had on this earth before. If you get migraine headaches, there's somebody thinking of you that wants your help or thinks that you're a strong person. And so what you want to do is you want to say, this is not me, this is not me, this is not me. Or if you feel like that you're being depressed, a lot of times you say, well, I don't have anything to be depressed about, but I'm really super depressed. Well, you're picking up somebody that is thinking of you, very depressed, and you want to say, this is not me, this is not me, this is not me, because we are picking up everyone. We're picking up all the emotions of the earth. And that's part of the new light ages. That's also the new intuitiveness that's coming in, which is going to be stronger than ever, just like manifestation. Anything you think, you're going to manifest. Anything you say, you're going to manifest. So if you say, I'm having a bad day, you're going to manifest, I'm having a bad day. If you say, I'm having a great day, you're going to manifest, you're having a great day. And it's almost as simple as saying the words, because we are in the new light energy and we're picking up everything.
Yeah. I know that some people will say, well, it's terrible that you don't watch the news. It's not that I'm not aware. I'm very aware. I look on the internet. I look at things. Somebody walks down the street and says, that's just terrible what happened in some school in New Hampshire or something. I don't want to watch the negative image that's coming across. I want to keep that, especially, and you know this, when you're dealing with people on an energetic level, you want to keep your energy up for them because they don't want to come to you and have you down.
Well,
it doesn't work real well that way.
you
know.
never see the news say, folks, we're having a beautiful day here in Las Vegas, and we had a gorgeous day today. We really
It really
did.
was. It was gorgeous
It was
this time of year.
absolutely awesome. Our temperatures was about 67, 70 degrees today. Beautiful sunshine, beautiful blue skies, which Las Vegas is known for, one of the reasons I'm here. And, you never hear them say, we're having a great day in Las Vegas. We're having a great day in Chicago.
No, you hear about everything that went wrong.
If you would just hear them say that one time, it would set everybody's intention in a total new direction.
Or somebody comes up and says, wow, the world's coming to an end, or things are bad. It's going to be bad. And I'm thinking, okay, that is a possibility, but I choose not to feed that dream.
Well, usually
I'm not going to carry that in myself. For one thing, it's too hard with such a general statement like that. There's not much I can do except work on myself.
Usually the soothsayers that you're talking about that do that, they're just there to help you face your fears, because if you face the fear that it's going to happen, then it's not going to happen, then you feel a lot better about it. So a lot of times that was the energy that was set up on the earth so that we could face our fears easier.
Yeah, and everybody and I'm telling people this, people that your greatest teachers are the ones that bring you conflict. I learned so much about myself from people that I'm not in alignment with. If I was, it just works that way.
Yes, and show you where your conflicts are, because if you've got a hook there's something you need to work on in that area.
Yeah, if somebody says something to me and I have a huge reaction to it, the first place I need to look is in myself and say, what is this? Is this something that I'm packing around? Or is there something truly that I need to pay attention to here outside of myself? 9 times out of 10.
Right.
If I'm having a physical reaction to it, it's my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if somebody, like I've had situations where I've had people not that long ago that was standing and screaming in my face. And it was interesting to me because 5 years before that, if this person had done that, I would have been all over them. Mm-hmm. But instead, I was having this experience of, like Charlie Brown's teacher, wah, 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 wah.
Right.
And I'm thinking, wow, this is not my stuff. This has nothing to do with me.
The last person that yelled at me, this is a true story. They had me pinned in a corner. They were yelling at me, and I was just looking at them saying, what is this person doing? And I said, you're just so boring. You're just so boring.
That really pisses them off.
Oh, it does.
Yeah, just totally, yeah.
At a level you have no idea.
Yeah. And I want to talk about, I had an interesting conversation with someone this week. We were talking about the difference between empathy and intuition. And I said, I've known intuitive people that are not empathetic.
Absolutely, I have too.
But it's kind of, I don't know. I don't think you can have a lot of empathy. I don't think you can be an empath without having some kind of intuition. I'm not sure. It's an interesting...
I think that's true, too, because empathy...
There's no study to do there. But
empathy is a lot like compassion. You're learning compassion for those people. And, those are sisters. Empathy and compassion are sisters. And so if you're having compassion or you're having empathy for someone, definitely that is intuition, because you're picking up their inner fear, their inner thoughts, their inner conflict.
And there's, I can say that I'm going to see if maybe next week on the show, I can find somebody who's an expert, if there is such a thing, on being an empath. Because empathy and being an empath apparently seems to be two different things. But I kind of disagree with that, because I understand about walking in a room and suddenly my energy goes through the floor.
Right.
Or I'm someplace and I have to leave. I can't handle all of the energy that's coming at me for one reason or another. I understand that, and I understand being depressed because possibly you're picking that up from somebody else. But at the same time, I'm not a believer in putting up barriers. I think it takes a heck of a lot of energy to put up a barrier. I'm more about expanding the light so that the only thing that can stand next to me is something, or the only thing that can get to me is something of equal or greater value.
Exactly. And we're working more and more on that all the time. And again, that's your 100th monkey. As we all start working in that direction, we start getting that mindset, then pretty soon the rest is going to be gone off the earth.
So developing intuition, and we started into that, about listening to your gut reactions. I know that one of the things, and I wanted to ask you about this, there's this thing about put something in a box and you go around a circle and see if anybody can. That's not one of my gifts.
No, that's not mine
That doesn't
either.
work with me at all. I just, you can put a key in there and I'll say it's a mouse. I mean, it's...
Right.
that's not my gift, and yet I am very intuitive.
Yes.
I'm really good at somebody comes to me and presents a problem. I love puzzles, so I'm really good at knowing which one's going to fit and what is going to work
And what
to
piece
solve
is
the
missing.
problem. And what
Yes.
piece is missing? Yeah, I love puzzles, and I'm just curious. I don't think that exercise develops intuition. I think
don't
what
either.
develops intuition is listening to your gut and then checking it out.
And also your feelings. You know, you have to pay attention to your feelings, because as I told you, I have one friend, she never sees or hears anything. She gets it through feeling, how she feels about that. And that's part of being intuitive as well.
In the shamanic journey, I'm always telling people many times whatever sense is strong in this reality, if you're very visual, you can go on a shamanic journey or a meditation and you don't see anything, but you get things or you hear things. So sometimes the other senses will come up when you're dealing when you're practicing that. So I really appreciate you saying don't discount it because you can't see anything. I think people think they need to see it like television, where there's a movie running.
Yeah, and when I do the quantum energy, a lot of times when I'm clearing out the old contracts and things like that out of their brain, a lot of times I get boxes and boxes and boxes, and I cannot see inside the boxes, but I hear glass rattle like wine glasses or something. And a lot of that is where they have wanted a desire and couldn't fulfill it, or they were disappointed. It's disappointments, and it's boxes and boxes and boxes we're getting rid of, but we don't need to look inside to see what they are.
I have people ask me all the time, do I have to relive something in order to let it go? No.
Just let it
You
go.
might need to. There might be part of you that does want to tell that story, and then you got to find a psychologist or a life coach or something. But to come to me, that's not particularly necessary. One of the things I do want to touch on is the full moon. The full moon and intuition. I believe that at that time, those of us that are really intuitive, it's really high.
It is very high.
Very high.
Also on a new moon, it's very high. On both of those levels, at one end of the scale to the other, is very high.
And this full moon that we've just started at 10 minutes after 3 Pacific time, this is this is in Leo. This is the sign of the lion. This is the sign of courage. This is the sign of stepping out there and being who you are. So it's no mistake that I'm going
and
through.
And not being afraid.
And not being afraid. So I anybody that's feeling those kinds of feelings, or if you're feeling unusually timid, there's the cowardly lion. There's the other side of that, Leo. That don't discount it. It's you need to honor wherever you're at, because you're in process of creating something different.
And one of the things we do, especially with the quantum energy, I do it also sometimes when I do when I do readings, is that I do a prayer for them to take back their power, because it's definitely time for you to take back your power, to step up, to speak up when you've never spoken up before, and to be showing your true self, not be afraid of who you really are, let you express your true self.
Yeah, big dreams. If you've had dreams you've always been wanting to do, this is a really good time right now to try and do something creative.
It is.
To try and change gears and do something different. And the full moon, really, people ask me, how long does it hang in there? 24, 48 hours, and then you'll start seeing the moon start to wane. And when it starts to wane, that is typically, and I say typically a time to start letting go of things. Typically to start clearing out the closet again. That's the way the cycle goes. For some people, it's a highly productive time.
Yes, it is.
For some people, it's better off if we curl up in a blanket for a few days and just kind of figure out what we're going to do until the new moon, and then you're back to creation, and then you're back to the and the next full moon's going to be in Virgo, which is my moon. That's where my moon is. Yeah. So that's going to be kind of interesting. We'll see how much I learn between now and then, what I create that's new. The full moon is in Leo. It is a great time if you have dreams, if you have been doing your homework and you've cleaned things out, or it's a good time to finish doing your homework and set
Leo
things in motion.
Leo is a very loving sign and
very
warm-hearted sign, so it's also a time of love.
Fire in the heart.
Yes, fire in the heart.
It's a wonderful thing. We have just a couple minutes left. So where are you going to be?
They can reach me at 702-583-1517.
And you do readings, over the phone readings?
I do readings. I do quantum energy sessions, which is phenomenal. We've been having some excellent results.
Yeah, you've told me some. I'd love to have you come back on and we'll talk about quantum energy, because
sure.
that's a big thing that's coming up now. Yeah.
Very big this year.
Yeah.
You're going to see more and more about that in different ways.
Right. Anything else you want to say before I give my little bit before we're done here?
I just appreciate all of you, and I appreciate you watching the show and having me on. Thank you
Oh,
so
yeah.
much.
It's great. It's always fun having you on. We just kind
thank you.
of ramble on. Anytime George is sitting and listening, I know we're doing good, you know. and bringing the angel. That's I've had a great time watching those colors swirl around. It's been very healing. Yeah. I'm Elaine Aristo. I'm a shamanic healer and practitioner. You can reach me at 702-308-8464. I have a private clientele. I teach healing circles, and I will be teaching advanced shamanic practices, 2 and 3 day seminars, and also next Wednesday, February 11th, from 6:30 to 9, I'm going to be at the Karma Connection. We're going to do a shamanic drumming and healing circle, and I'm going to teach people how to journey. If you're interested, it's 215 in Rainbow, Warm Springs and Rainbow, off of there. And other than that, this is a full moon. Anything that's going on, just take a deep breath and know it's going to pass in a couple of days. If you're over emotional, if you're cleaning the house, if you want to dream big, do it. This is the time to do it. And listen to your gut. Have a great week. I'll see you next week. Maybe we'll talk about empathy, empaths. I can't even say it. Anyway, have a great week. Thanks. Bye.
Here I am, standing at the door, looking back at life as it's been before.